What do you think about the Giants like not taking a quarterback in this draft? Obviously, that means that they would be passing up on Shedeur Sanders. Now he's getting mocked in a ton of different places, especially in the top 10. But like they would be passing up another franchise quarterback potentially to take Travis Hunter. He's a generational player, but is that something that you think that franchise is doing that is smart?
I actually do think it's smart because if you look at next year's draft, tons of prospects, Drew Aller being one of them, Lenoris Sellers potentially, Arch Manning. I think that draft class is way more loaded in terms of quarterback talent. So you take a guy like Travis Hunter, a guy you can already solidify your team as, and then next year, you go into next year with needing a quarterback potentially, you can take one of those guys, and that fits perfectly.
Okay, so I mentioned Shedeur Sanders and where he could potentially go in this NFL draft. My guess would be the Saints. In all honesty, I think they maybe make a move to try to go up and get him, or maybe he does just fall to their pick. But I know that you disagree. I know you don't have him going to the Saints. Where do you have Shedeur Sanders going?
I think the Steelers is a good option for Shedeur Sanders. Or actually, even though I did say that Travis Hunter is a great fit for the Giants, I don't know if the Giants are actually going to pick Travis Hunter. And I think they might actually still even take Shedeur with Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson they brought in. I think it's
How far behind do you have him from Cam Ward? Because obviously Cam Ward's like the bona fide number one, but how far do you think the gap is?
I don't think it's as big as a gap as a lot of people take it. Like Shedeur Sanders is, I believe, the most pro-ready NFL quarterback. I know it's a hot take nowadays. People say that Shedeur isn't a top talent, but I do like his talent in terms of his arm, great accuracy, pinpoint accuracy. He's solid in the pocket with his footwork. Sometimes gets shaky with pressure, but I do like Shedeur Sanders. And I don't think, Go ahead.
Talk about Shedeur to the Steelers. Obviously, the Steelers are drafting a little bit farther back in the draft. What would they have to do to get him? Do you think that they could stay where they're at, or would they have to trade up?
I think that's a great question because I think the Cowboys might actually be a team that trade back with the Steelers if Shedeur Sanders is available at 12.
Okay. I'm on the train of maybe like more on the Saints train, especially because of the fact that like Derek Carr is not like all there. Where do you see the Saints, like just in general, maybe where do you see them going with that pick, especially because of the fact that they kind of alluded to the fact that they might not be taking quarterback with their pick and they might settle on a different position just in general.
Yeah, and it's hard to think about because I'm a Spencer Rattler guy, so I like Spencer Rattler. I think they should stick with him. And I think that's what they actually might end up doing, just to give him one more year. It was his first year last year, tons of injuries. So, yeah.
Spencer Rattler as like a franchise guy, or Spencer Rattler as
maybe like a bridge QB?
Yeah, like a bridge quarterback, see what you got in him. I do think he has the talent to potentially be, a franchise guy. But right now, I don't think he is, but he does have the talent.
Are you a South Carolina Gamecocks fan by chance?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
I think, unfortunately, a lot of Gamecocks fans would tell you otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
Watch. He was just too up and down and too inconsistent those last couple of years, even with Shane Beamer, though.
Yeah.
Pat, you have anything else on Shedeur? I feel like we've gotten a pretty good gauge of like where we expect Shedeur to. Like the Steelers sounds like a good landing spot. I mean, the Saints like obviously desperately need a quarterback. I don't think you can go back to Derek Carr, especially after a season-ending injury. So I mean, either of those spots would be good. Is there before we move off of Shedeur, is there any other place you could see him? Obviously, there's the Giants are rumored to stick with either one of the two defensive players. The Saints say they're not drafting a quarterback that high, and the Steelers are so far back in the draft. Is there anywhere else you could possibly see him going?
Honestly, if knowing Jerry Jones, if he gets there, I wouldn't doubt him to take him, especially with the Sanders last name. I've tweeted about this too, a while ago. I don't doubt Jerry Jones to do it.
That would be, if that happens, what would you say is more shocking? Michael Penix last year to the Falcons, or
it would be
the Cowboys? It
would be Shedeur Sanders to the Cowboys, especially with Dak Prescott.
That would make some noise, I feel like.
That definitely
Jerry
would.
Jones loves noise.
I counted down the top paid NFL players, and obviously it's just quarterbacks. And Dak Prescott was on that list. And when you take a look at that list, there was only about 5 guys that were really worth the money. So maybe if they do feel like Shedeur Sanders has that potential to truly be their franchise guy, and they end up picking him in the first round, I'd imagine they would have to move off of Dak Prescott eventually, within a year.
Well, it's hard for that because he has a no trade clause. So That's why I think
Oh, that's extraordinarily tough for them. Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to say, but I know Jerry Jones and he loves noise, and that pick will do it.